2024, Ukraine made a bold move. They launched an offensive into Russia's Kursk region. This region, steeped in historical significance, became a new battleground. Ukraine had clear objectives. They aimed to establish a buffer zone, pushing Russian forces back. This, they hoped, would protect Ukrainian civilians from constant shelling. Additionally, the offensive aimed to divert Russian troops. This would ease pressure on the heavily contested Eastern Front. Initial successes fueled optimism. Ukrainian forces, displaying tenacity and tactical acumen, made inroads into Russian-held territory. Towns like Sudzha fell under Ukrainian control. By September 2024, Ukraine had captured approximately 1,376 square kilometers. The momentum seemed to be with them. The world watched, holding its breath as Ukraine went on the offensive. This offensive, however, was not without its risks. Ukraine was venturing into a lion's den. The Kursk region, heavily fortified by Russia, presented a formidable challenge. Moreover, this offensive represented a significant escalation. It signaled a new phase in the conflict, one where Ukraine was no longer solely focused on defense. This gamble, if successful, could significantly alter the war's trajectory. However, failure carried the weight of potentially devastating consequences. The world watched, captivated by the audacity of Ukraine's gambit. Would this bold move be the turning point they hoped for, or would it be a costly miscalculation? The answer, as with most things in war, was far from simple. The battlefield, a tapestry woven with bravery and bloodshed, held its breath, awaiting the next move in this high-stakes game. Russia's response was swift and brutal. A counteroffensive, spearheaded by a force of 70,000 troops, was unleashed. This force, bolstered by 12,000 North Korean soldiers, signaled a new resolve. Russia, it seemed, would defend its territory with unwavering ferocity. However, it was not simply manpower that turned the tide. Russia unveiled a new ace in the whole advanced drone warfare. The skies over Kursk filled with a new breed of deadly machines. FPV drones, nimble and deadly, harassed Ukrainian positions, delivering precision strikes. Fiber-optic guided drones, their payloads guided by unseen hands miles away, obliterated Ukrainian armor. Kamikaze drones, their sole purpose to find and destroy, rained down death from above. This onslaught of unmanned weaponry had a devastating effect. Ukrainian logistics, already stretched thin, were thrown into disarray. Supply lines, crucial for maintaining the offensive, became death traps. Roads, once arteries for troop movement and resupply, were now choked with burning wreckage. The battlefield, once defined by the rumble of tanks and the crackle of gunfire, now echoed with the sinister buzz of drones. This technological onslaught exposed a crucial vulnerability in Ukraine's war machine. While Western support had provided tanks, artillery, and even fighter jets, it had not fully addressed the threat posed by Russia's drone program. This asymmetry in warfare would have a profound impact on the battle for Kursk, tilting the scales decisively in Russia's favor. The age of drone warfare had arrived with a vengeance, and Ukraine, caught in its grip, struggled to adapt. It was chaos, recounted a Ukrainian soldier, his voice heavy with exhaustion and trauma. We were constantly under drone surveillance. Every move we made, every vehicle, every supply line was watched and targeted. His testimony, echoed by countless others, painted a grim picture of the situation on the ground. The offensive, once brimming with hope, had devolved into a desperate fight for survival. Supplies were dwindling. Another soldier, his eyes haunted by the memories, revealed. We were low on ammunition, food, water. The wounded had to wait hours, sometimes days, for evacuation. The relentless drone strikes had effectively severed their lifeline. The front line, once a bastion of resistance, was crumbling under the weight of overwhelming firepower and logistical nightmares. The retreat, when it came, was fraught with danger. Roads, choked with destroyed vehicles and littered with mines, became treacherous death traps. We were sitting ducks, a soldier admitted, his voice laced with bitterness. Every time we thought we found a safe route, another drone would appear, followed by artillery fire. The retreat, once a tactical maneuver, became a desperate scramble for survival. These first-hand accounts offered a chilling glimpse into the reality of the Kursk offensive. The fog of war, often obscuring the human cost, was pierced by the raw emotion in their voices. These were not just statistics, not just casualties of war, but individuals, sons, fathers, brothers, who had borne witness to the horrors of a conflict increasingly defined by technology and terror. By March 13, 2025, the dream of a Ukrainian Kursk lay shattered. Russian forces had retaken lost ground, pushing Ukrainian troops back across the border. The official declaration, broadcast on Russian state media, was blunt. Kursk is fully under control. The offensive, once a beacon of hope, had ended in a costly retreat. The cost of this ambition was steep. While Ukrainian General Oleksandr Syrsky claimed over 50,000 Russian casualties, independent analysts painted a different picture. Ukraine, they estimated, had lost two-thirds of its initial territorial gains, retaining only around 338 square kilometers. This came at a heavy price, both in manpower and equipment. The retreat was not just a strategic setback, it was a logistical nightmare. In the haste to escape, Ukrainian forces were forced to abandon significant amounts of equipment. Tanks, artillery pieces, and even Western-supplied weapons systems fell into Russian hands. This windfall of weaponry would undoubtedly bolster Russia's war effort, prolonging the conflict and potentially shifting the balance of power. The Kursk offensive, once a symbol of Ukrainian resilience and determination, had become a stark reminder of the brutal realities of war. Victories, often fleeting and achieved at a terrible cost, could quickly turn to defeat. The road to peace, it seemed, was paved with the wreckage of broken dreams and shattered ambitions.